and then we have fasl, then we have naw', then we have al-'aqd al-'am and al-'aqd al-khas. So inshallah today's any lesson I will go slowly and inshallah by bringing in some more examples. Some people are asking based on the last lesson, what is the meaning of fasl, what is the meaning of jins. It seems that some of the things are still not clear. Inshallah ta'ala we go back to the definitions, and also I will try my best to explain the difference between these five universal concepts with examples. May Allah bless us with tawfiq. So inshallah now we enter into our notes. Before we go here, let me see from. So inshallah we go back into where we are. Just give me a minute. Okay, this is the Sullam. Before that, we are speaking about the meaning of juz'i and kulli. We mentioned about al-mufrad, the singular word, that is different to the word that is compounded. And then under mufrad we have the universal and the particular, the juz'i and kulli. And we mentioned that in Mantiq, the scholars they give emphasis on the kulli over the juz'i. We are more concerned about the universal aspects of the meanings of words rather than the particular aspect. And then under this kulli, then we have kulliyatul khams. So this is how basically this is how we look at it. So we will read this again. The author mentioned وَأَوَّلًا لِذَاتِ إِن فِيهَا اندرج فانصبه أو لعارض إذا خرج. So I will explain this again. We read the translation first, and he says, firstly associate the kulli, the universal, under the category of essence, and is that if it is part of the essence. If it is outside the main reality of its essence, then it is called the arad, the accident. So here there are two components of the kulli. We have the that and we have the arad. We have the that and we have the arad. When we speak about a particular word, for example, that has universal meaning, meaning general meaning, where it has its members under its category. For example, insan, we give the example of insan. Insan, the meaning is humans, and under humans we have the members, we call it the members. So we have, for example, the people in Asia, the people in Africa, the people in Europe, Zaid, Hassan, David. All these are members of the word insan. So it carries a universal meaning. Taib. When we look at the word insan or humans, so we look at two aspects. One is the aspect of the essence of human beings. Another aspect is the attributes, or we call it the accidents, al-arad. So we have that and we have any arad. So the difference is that when we speak about that, when we speak about essence, it is something then stand on its own. It is something then that stand on its own. It does not subsist in something else. This is the meaning of that. It does not subsist in something else. Whereas when we speak about accidents, these are attributes that subsist in the essence. So when we speak about human beings, for example, human being is an essence. Human being is an essence. Type the height of a human being and the size of a human being, this is an accident. This is an accident. Likewise, the color, the health, the sicknesses, this is an accident. Why we say it is an accident? It doesn't stand on its own. You cannot take out from human beings something that is called the height. Or you cannot take out from human being, for example, the sicknesses. These are things that subsist within the human beings. So that is why we call it, these are the accidents. It subsists in the essence. So when we speak about a universal word, when we look at the meaning of the word, then we have to look out for these two elements. What is the essence and the categories within this essence, and what is the accidents of this particular thing. So when it comes to human being, we say our body is an essence. Our physical bodies, it is that. The color of our skin is an accident. Our laughter is an accident. Our movement is an accident. Our height is an accident. Our bodies itself, our bodies it is what you call it, an essence. So this is the difference between that and arad. So when it comes into the essence, when we go into Kulliyatul Khamsa, the 5 universal concepts, we break the 5 universal concepts into 2 parts. The first category speaks about the essence, and the second category speaks about the accidents. So this is how we are going to see. Maybe this I mentioned before this about the difference between Zat and was and Arad. So I mentioned the difference between Zat and Arad. The author mentioned this difference as explains further the meaning of the kulli, universal. They are kulli zati, a universal word which speaks about the Zat, the essence, and kulli aradi, and the accident and aspect of that particular thing. The summary of the 5 universal concepts: kullu zati is a universal expression that describes the reality and is part of the essence, of the essence. An example will be the word being, which is universal to describe any humans. This expression of being describes the essence of humans, the essence of humans, and in Arabic we call it al-hayawan. Al-hayawan it is a living being. So human beings, we say human beings, and beings itself it is a living thing. So it is part of the essence of human beings. This expression of being describe the essence of the human. It is divided into 2 groups. One is the am, and the other is the khas. There are kulli dhati am and kulli dhati khas. So there are certain things that when you speak about the essence of human beings, there are certain things that is general, that is shared with other beings, and there are certain things that are specifically for human beings. So this is the meaning of am and khas. Am and khas, when it comes into the essence, and it speaks about the essence of human beings in relation to the other beings, in relation to the other beings. So there are certain similarities, and there are certain differences. Later on, inshallah, I will give examples. And then he mentioned, As for the arad, as for the accident, it is a universal concept which is not part of the essence. So arad it is not any part any of the essence, but it is something any that subsists any in the essence. This is the meaning. Rather an attribute, or we say any it is a sifa or an attribute. It is outside any day the reality. There are also two types of arad, the am and khas. One is common am and the other is particular khas. An example of particular accident is the expression of laughter ascribed into human beings. So for example, we say laughter is an accident. Laughter is an accident. And it is specifically only for human beings, because other beings do not laugh. When you speak about beings, for example, we have human, cows, cats, dogs, all these are part of, these are all any beings. But what is the special thing about the accident of human beings, or the attribute of human being that is different to other beings? So one of it is laughter. That human beings laugh, other beings do not. Other beings do not laugh. But there is something that is common. As an accident, there is something that is common that you can find in human beings and also in other beings. For example, walking. Walking is an accident that is common, that is shared by all beings. So this is the difference between laughter and walking. Laughter is an attribute that is specific to human beings, whereas walking is an attribute that is common to many other beings. We don't say all beings, but many other beings. For example, dogs walks, cats walk. Not only human beings have the ability to walk. As for the common and the accident like walking, which is a universal concept, this attribute is shared by the various beings like the animals as well as the humans. Animals also walk. As for the universal concept whose members are akin in their essence, and it is the complete essence of all of its members, it is called the species, the noun. For example, we have the word beings, al-hayawan. Al-hayawan is a being, a living being. Under living being, we have the members, correct or not? We have human, we have horses, dogs, cats. All these are the the categories. The categories of al-hayawan. It is the members, we say. The members of the beings. If they are different in their realities, for example, we say humans are not the same as dogs. Humans are not the same as dogs in their essence, correct or not? In their essence. When you look at a human being, you know this is a human being. When you look at a dog, you know this is a dog, and by the physical feature. By the physical feature. But human beings and dogs, they share a common thing. What is the common thing that we share with other animals? The fact that we are living beings. Human are living beings, dogs are living beings. But we differ in realities. Realities here, we are speaking about essences. In terms of our essence and the essence of dogs, we are not the same. So, if the members of a particular universal word differ in their realities, now we say this is the meaning of genus. We say al-hayawan is jins. Why is hayawan is considered to be jins? Because the members differ in their realities. But if their realities are the same, then it is called species. So here basically we are speaking about the difference between genus and species. What is the difference? Again, the difference of a genus and a species is that the members of the genus, it differs in their realities, whereas the members of the species, they are similar in their realities. Now, all this, as what I mentioned, inshallah, I will give examples. But we will just read this first. As for the universal concept of whose members are akin in their essence and in their haqiqah, in their essence, in their realities, and it is the complete essence of all its members, it is called the species, where the essences are the same. So, for example, under the word insan, what do you get? What are the members of insan? The members of insan, for example, We have Muhammad, Ahmad, Hassan, Fatima. All these are human beings. All these are human beings. In terms of our essence, we are the same. In terms of our physical features, our physical, bodies, we are named as human beings. Whether we are people who live in Asia, or we live in Europe, or we live in Africa, and when we look at people we know that we are, all of us, we are human beings. So we are similar in essence. We are similar in our reality, the fact that we are human beings. So when the reality is the same, then the word insan is now. The word insan is now. Why is it considered to be now or species? Because the members are similar in their realities. Whereas for the word hayawan, the members differ in their realities. So this is again the difference between al-jins wa naw. In English we call it the genus and the species. Aywa. We go on first, inshallah. Then the author mentioned wal kulliyatu khamsatun. Yani universal concepts are 5. Dun antiqas, jinsun, wa faslun, aradun, naw'un, wa khas. These are the 5 things. So I believe in our last lesson I spoke about this. This is just some revision, so that we can memorize inshallah ta'ala. And this is one of the most important topics in the first chapter in Mantiq, that is a chapter of tasawwur. We have to get this right. We have to understand the 5 universal concepts. Our lesson before this are just an introduction to this. So we start off by speaking about dalala, signification. We spoke about dalala lafdiyya, dalala lafdiyya wad'iyya, formulative signification. And then we spoke about mufrad and murakkab, and under mufrad we have kulli and juz'i, and we are concerned with kulli, and under kulli we have the kulliyatul khamsa, and these are the 5 things. So we are in need to understand these 5 universal concepts, to understand definitions, and that inshallah later on we will speak about how are we able to come with the right definition of things. But first we have to understand the meaning of these 5 things. So number 1 is jins, as you can see in the Arabic part, jinsun. So the Imam Akhlaqi mentioned jinsun wa faslun aradun naw'un wa khas. Naw'un wa khas. طيب. Maybe we get this first, inshallah, before I go on with my example. So he said the universal concept has 5 types without any decrement. They are the genus, differential, fossil, accident, species, and particular. The author mentioned the 5 universal concepts. First in jins, it is a universal concept whose members differ in their reality. That's what I mentioned. And the difference is a part of the reality of its members. Like the animal whose members are human, horse, cows, and others, their reality is diverse. Their reality is not the same. The reality haqiqah of man is different from the reality of the remaining animals. Likewise, the reality of the horses is not the reality of the remaining animals, and so on. Except that being an animal is part of all these diverse realities. So there is a difference in the realities. So this is the meaning of jins. The members differ in their realities. The second one is a differential, the fossil. It is a universal concept whose members are akin in reality, and their similarity is part of the reality of its members. Like being an irrational, which is part of the reality of the human, and the members of the human are akin in reality. So when it comes to the differential, what is the differentiating factor that differentiate between human beings and cows, human beings and horses, meaning human beings and other members of beings. So for example, we say it is natiqiyya, that human beings have the ability to possess this intellect and to think. This is the thing the differentiate human beings from other beings. So we say this is fossil. So the meaning of fossil basically it is something that differentiate a particular thing from its other members under the same category of jins. Okay, now inshallah I will give the example inshallah. طيب. I will go back into the whiteboard. طيب. Okay, so now what I will do is I will explain the meaning of jins. You have jins, fasl, arad, naw, khas. That's what the Sullam mentioned. So these are the 5 universal concepts. Right. So this is an example that we will do. We have beings. In Arabic, we call it hayawan. This is we call it the genus, the jins. Why? Because under hayawan, under living beings, I put here living beings. What are the members? What are the members of the living beings? So for example, we have cows, horses, humans. Can you see? Cats, dogs, and the list goes on. So these are these are the members. Can you see? Ya salam. These are the members. Okay. Okay, now we say all this are the members of beings, correct or not? So all these are under the category of beings. All these are members. Now we ask the question: cows, horses, humans, cats, dogs, are the realities the same? Are cows similar to horses? Are horses similar to humans? Are humans similar to cats? Are dogs similar to cats? They are different in realities. So when the members of a particular universal word are different in their realities, what do we call this? What do we call this hayawan? We call it, this is jins. This is under the category of genus. In English we call it genus. Genus. Not jinn, genus. In Arabic we call it jins. Jinsun. The word Malay janis it comes from the word jins. Malay we have this word it's called janis and it comes from genus, from jins. Taib. So now we have under the category of humans, we have the members also, correct or not? We have, for example, Ahmad, a person by the name Ahmad, Fatima, David, Sam. So all these are the members under the word humans. Tamam? Taib. Are they the same in realities? Ahmad, Fatima, David, Sam. Are they the same in realities? Yes. All of them are humans, correct or not? They are the same in their realities. So when the members of a particular universal word are the same in their realities, what do we call this? This is naw. Naw'un. In English we call it species. Okay, now we do muraja'ah slowly, inshallah. I want those who are following this class to understand the difference between jins and naw. So again, beings, hayawan, under hayawan we have all these cows, horses, humans, cats and dogs. Since they differ in their realities, so beings is a genus. Under humans we have Ahmad, Fatima, David, Sam. They are the same in their realities. They are human beings. So these are called, humans are called now. Likewise, cats now, dogs now. For example, under dogs, What do you have? What are the members under dogs? For example, you have the German Shepherd, correct or not? Types and species of dogs. German Shepherd, and then you have Chihuahua, and so on. And difficult for me to write because of this. Sometimes to write is small, quite difficult. So basically, I think it's clear, inshallah. Under cats also, we have all the different types. So this is also noun. Dogs is considered to be noun. Cats noun. Horses noun. Cows noun. طيب. Ahmad, Fatima, David, and Sam. They share the same inegalities. We call each of them sinful. Sinful. The plural is asnaf. Just like in zakat, you have the asnaf. The plural is asnaf. طيب. So now how many things we have spoken from the universal concepts? We have spoken about genes. We have spoken about noun. So pay attention to these two words. A noun and genes. So I hope by now it is clear, inshallah. طيب. Now we go back into the word humans. This word, humans. So we say that human is noun. Human, it is a species from beings, al-hayawan. So now when we look at human beings and we want to find the definition for human being, so first thing we have to go back to the genes on top of it. What is the category of genes of the genus on top of humans? It is hayawan. So we have to use this nearest genus. So we take hayawan, but under hayawan we have all these members that are different in their realities. So now we are in need to find out what is the differentiating factor between human beings and horses and cows and cats and dogs. We ask this question: what is the thing that differ where human beings is different from cats and dogs and horses and all these other animals? So the answer is what? The answer is that difference is called Natiqiyya. Natiqiyya. The difference is that human beings possess intellect. Al-Mantiq. Human beings are able to think. So we say this is called differentia, faslun. Clear, inshallah? So we have spoken about genes, we have spoken about noun, we have spoken about fasl. So again, the meaning of fasl, it is the differentiating factor among the members of noun. Among the members of the members of the genes. The members of the genes, the differentiating factor between the other members. So when we want to define human beings, we go back to the genes that is the nearest, that is hayawan, and then we find out what is the difference between human beings and the rest of other beings. If you want to define horses, for example, again you have you use the word hayawan, but this time you have to find the difference between horses and the other animals. What is the difference of horses and other animals in terms of their essence? In terms of their essence, that is the meaning of fossil. So the word fossil, the differentiator, it is a differentiating factor that differentiate between one particular member of a genes with the rest of the other members. So now how many we have covered? We have covered genes, noun, and fossil. So we are left with two more. So I will erase this first. Now I'm going to speak about the other two. That is al-am wal-khas. Al-am, al-aqdul am wa aqdul khas. But before I go to speak about the other two, let us look at something. Let us look at this. Okay. This is any representation of kulliyatul khamsa in terms of dhati and aradi. So just now I mentioned dhati it means essence, aradi it goes back to the attributes and accidents. Under dhati we have the three: now, jins, fasl, and these are the three things that I mentioned earlier. So all this goes back into the essence and in explaining the essence. So we spoke about jins, for example we spoke about hayawan earlier, and then now human beings. And then we have the fasl, the thing that differentiate human beings from the rest of other members within the same jins. Type. And then we have the accident, al-aradi. We have the accident and it is divided into al-khasa and am. Type. What is the example? The example is this. Now, we look at the word insan. We look at the word insan or human beings. We look at the word human. Human. So now we look at the aspect of the attribute or accident. What is the attribute of human beings? What are the attributes of human beings that are specific? Because is divided into two parts. The attributes of human beings, and we have the specific and we have the general. So for example, if I ask what is a specific attribute of human beings, so we say laughter, writing. What is the general attribute that is shared by other members, other species? Walking, running. So when it comes to laughter, we say this is khas, specific in Arabic we call it khas. General is am. So since we are speaking about al-arad, accidents, so al-arad is divided into two. We have am and khas, the specific and the general. So when it comes into the specific attribute of human beings, laughter, writing. And then when it comes into the general accidents of human beings, walking, running. Why we say this is general? Because it is shared by all other animals. Cats walk, cats run. Dogs walk, dogs run. So it is shared by the other members. So we say this is al-ardul am. Whereas laughter and writing is ardul khas. So under this category of khas and am, we have another two categories. We have another two categories. We have what is called ability. The other one is action. Maybe I use a new screen. I erase this first. But I hope it is clear, inshallah. So now we have understood what is al-ardul am and ardul khas. Accidents that are general, accidents that are specific. So for example, we have for example al-am, Ya salam. Al-ard al-khas. Then we have in Arabic, and they call it bil fi'l. Then we have bil quwwa. Likewise, ard al-khas bil fi'l. The other one is bil quwwa. Okay, let me explain. So earlier we say that ard al-khas, an example is one, laughter. Correct or not? Earlier I gave the example of laughter and writing. طيب, when we say laughter, does it mean that human beings laugh always? That always in a state of laughter, meaning what you call it in action? We say no. Human beings sometimes laugh, sometimes does not laugh. So when human beings laugh, we say this is bil fi'l. Bil fi'li. Yani bil fi'li, by the action of this laughter. So we say by the action. But if you find any human being that is keeping quiet, for example, we say this particular person has the ability to laugh, but he does not laugh. So we say this is bil quwwa. Yani meaning has the ability, but it's not performing that particular action. Likewise, when it comes to ardul am, we give the example of walking and running. Sometimes the insan is keeping still and not walking or sitting down. So when insan walks, we say this walks bil fi'l, by the action. But when you find a person does not walk, but he has the ability to walk, we say that he walks bil quwwa. Yani he has the ability to walk. So this is basically under al-arad. All these are under accidents. So it is divided into the two parts, al-ardul khas wa ardul am. So altogether these are the 5 universal concepts. So now when we go back, into our chart. So now by now I think it is clear now. So if you look the word kulli under zati and aradi. So under zati you have now jins, fasl. So this lesson, mashallah, I have explained what is the meaning of jins, what is the meaning of naw, what is the meaning of fasl. So we say that jins, it is a universal word that has members that differ in their realities. Now, it is a universal word, then the members are the same in their realities. Fasl is the differentiating factor that differentiate a particular word from all its other members within the same jins. Within the same jins. And all this goes back to speak about the essence. The difference in terms of the essence. And then when it comes to the accidents or the attributes, then we have specific accidents and we have general accidents. So I gave an example of laughter as a specific accident for human beings, walking as a general accident for human beings that is shared by the other members of the same category of beings. Tamam. So this is the meaning of kulliyatul khamsa. Kulliyatul khamsa. So this is an example of human beings. We can speak about a lot of things. We can speak about cats, we can speak about dogs, we can speak about even concepts, for example, we can speak about things. All this, the 5 universal concept applies. So whenever we come out with a word that has any universal meaning, then the 5 universal concepts come into play. So that is why it is important for us to differentiate between these 5 things, so that we have a good tasawwur, a good this ability to understand the meanings of words and the connection of these words to the other members of a particular genus and the genus before it, and the differentiating factor and the accidents or attributes of a particular thing, and so on and so forth. Aywa. So now inshallah we go back into our notes. So this is basically the same thing. Jins fasil now under the same and under essence. Khas and am is under al-arab. And then the author he mentioned wa awwalun salasatun bila shatat jinsun qaribun aw ba'idun aw wasat. So now the author he goes on to speak about the types of jins. So you have the three types. You have what is called as jinsun qarib, jinsun wasat, and jinsun ba'id. So we do not have much time left. Maybe I just give an example, inshallah. Next week we read from the notes. So let me just give some examples. Hopefully it becomes clear. Okay, the example is basically this. So now we have for example, we use the same example humans. We have the word hayawan. Hayawan. Under hayawan, we have insan. On top of hayawan, we have jism. On top of jism, we have jawhar. Jawhar basically means a substance. This is a jism and it's a body. So we say this is jins. Jawhar and is substance and jins. So under jawhar and we have jism. We have other members and within jawhar. Under jism and we have hayawan. And then we have, for example, plants, rocks, and so on and so forth. Under hayawan and we have insan, and we have earlier we mentioned some examples of the animals. Insan and, for example, dogs. So earlier we mentioned that hayawan is jins, correct or not? Why? Why is hayawan jins? Because the members differ in their realities. What about jism? Jism is also jins, because the members differ in their realities. Hayawan is not the same as plants. Hayawan is living being, different from plants, different from rocks. So it is also jins. So how many we have these genus? Hayawan is also genus. And jawhar is also genus. So how many genus you have now? 3 genus. This jawhar is more general. Jism is under jawhar. Hayawan is under jism, and insan is under hayawan. So can you look at the hierarchy now? So from hayawan you have insan, from jism you have hayawan, from jawhar you have jism. And this is jins, because why? The members differ in their reality. But when it comes to insan, it is now, as what we mentioned. Because the members of insan, they are the same in their realities. Okay, so now we have the nearest jins. What is the nearest jins to insan? What is the nearest jins to insan? Hayawan, correct or not? This is the nearest jins to insan. So we say this is jinsun qarib, the near genus. As for the second nearest is jism. This is jinsun wasat, the middle genus. And then we have the jawhar, which is on top of jism. This is ba'id, jinsun ba'id, the far genus. So this is what the author will speak about. So he said that there are the three types of jins: qarib, wasat, ba'id. So when we use hayawan, we say this is jinsun qarib. When you use jism, this is jinsun ba'id. When you use this is jinsun wasat. And then when you use any jawhar, this is jinsun ba'id. So inshallah, our next lesson, and we will cover more into this. Wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.